Okay, so welcome to Let's Go Live. You're my inaugural guest because did it books and baking last year. We took the Christmas off and then I reformatted. So let's go live with Gigi Meyer and introduce yourself.
I'm GM Chmilar. People call me Gabby or Gabs. I'm not really picky about what people call me. Everyone likes to change my name. So fine. It's Gabrielle. Yes.
But it's Gabrielle, right?
Thanks. Yeah, my husband called me Gabbo.
Gabs, that's so cute.
A couple of his sister calls me Gabba Gabba. One of my friends calls me Gabster. Someone calls me Gabbarino or Gabbaroni. Or everyone just likes to play with my name. So I'm like, okay, whatever. It's pretty fun. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you have 10 nicknames.
That's the thing. But yeah,
Gabba,
that's what they call me, Gabba Gabba. So I mean, I answer to most of it.
Go, Gabby is what she said. That's so cute.
So,
okay, so tell us your handle and where we can find you.
So you can find me on Instagram mostly. I'm on TikTok too. It's still Missing Scribbles. C is for my last name. So yeah, miss.c ing scribbles, missing scribbles. Yeah, so I have a website. It's gmchmilar.com too, so you can find all of the information for my books and newsletters and things like that on my website. But most of the time it's gmchmilar.com.
Say that website again.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go join. I know I love getting on people's newsletters. I know some people are like,
I just don't know what to send out. So I'm always hi, this is the month. But
Well, I think too that when you sign up for other people's newsletters, you kind of just get a feel for
it's really helpful, and I like to hear how people write stuff and how they're doing, and kind of what they're doing in their everyday, what they're reading, what they're watching. I think that the media that we absorb kind of turns into what we write and how we present ourselves.
I think that's totally the case. So let me ask you this. You write urban fantasy.
It is urban fantasy. There's romance in it.
Or no, tell me what you write.
Yeah, there's a lot of action scenes, and it's kind of how I wanted it to read was, if you close your eyes, you could see it on TV. That was
I love that. Yeah, because, okay, so some people, and I'm going to get the terms all wrong, but they talk about, do you have an inner voice or an inner monologue? And so I asked my daughter, and so she was of course, my son's like, what in the world are you even talking about? But I know what you're saying, because when you write, if you close your eyes, it's literally a movie behind your eyelids.
It's
so you writ then
third
in
person,
deep first
very
person?
Close third person. So the book that I have out right now, Solem, it's a multi-POV third person. There's 6 main characters that I'm juggling. All of them their storyline, and it's kind of fun.
Gosh.
I really like that. Yeah.
Okay, so that leads into my next question. That is an impressive amount of multiple
I'm
POVs.
a pantser.
So do you plot or are you a pantser?
I think it's...
How do you pants with 6 POVs? I feel like I don't know all this secrets
it's
out.
really
that one who's
well. I think it's fun.
Knows everything.
It's fun. So this whole my whole book is based on a family. Things happen to them. It's tragic. Blah 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 blah. And it kind of follows them around, and they're all siblings. So technically, the secrets that they share in between each other, you kind of just assume. What would you tell your sister? You would tell her half truths, right? If you're you fall in love with this guy and you're just maybe not, but your sister is excited, but you're only going to tell her half the things, right? Because she's going to blow everything out of proportion. So it's a very it's there's a linear story There's an actual, like, okay, this person starts and then ends here, and then it continues with a different person, but on a different day. It's very interesting. I don't know how to explain that.
I like that because I know, sorry, my bulldog, he's so loud, I don't know if you can hear him. I like that because some POVs, they like, it's the retelling of the story and the retelling of the story. And so
Yeah,
I'm like, I
yeah.
don't want
So,
to read
like,
it
it
three
starts
times, get
off
the
with
same
one of the
scene three
sisters. Her name
times.
is
I like your
Amelia.
way.
So she, like, tells you the whole story of how the whole tragic thing happens. Something bad happens. And then we skip 2 years, and now it's grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma's like, it happened, it was sad, and now we're kind of trying to heal the family, and like, these are my grandchildren, and this is what we're doing now, and we're trying to get on with our lives. And then it goes to, who does it go to? It goes to like the main guy, like the actual protagonist. He's the chosen one. He's the underdog magic person, and it's from him now. He doesn't know any of this, and he's just like, I'm here. Hi. Help me. I just popped him in. And now it's like the family trying
Yeah,
to
you
find
just
him, and they're
dropped
like,
him in.
what is wrong with you? And he's like, I don't know. You're supposed to tell me. You're the magic people. Yeah.
Okay, can we pause right there? I want to ask,
Um,
what
to
is the
me, I think
definition then
urban
of urban
fantasy is
fantasy?
like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, right? Like it's magic, but like it's here.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So do you create your own magic system, or what am I trying to say? Like your own magic system, or is it like
I
paranormal, spiritual, or where's the line, I
Yeah,
guess?
I don't know because I did
Or is
make
there
up
a
a
line? There may
magic
not be. It could
system,
be a mix of all of it.
and it's kind of like I don't know how to explain it. I did make up a magic system. Yes. But it's very like there's hard magic and soft magic. And soft magic is like gods. Gods are magical. We don't know why they're magical, but they're magical and they can do magic things. That's that's soft magic.
And that's hard
Soft. Hard
magic? I've never heard
magic
that
has
term.
rules. So like Harry Potter has
Oh,
rules.
okay.
You can do this, this, and this, and you can like make things bigger and make things smaller. But if you do this ritual at this time of day and the moon's out, sort of thing. So there's soft magic and hard magic, and it's kind of a mix of both because the
Okay.
family that we hang out with the most of the time, it's hard magic. There are rules. There are sacrifices that you have to give in corporate to like exude power or to use your power. There are actual cautionary tales of why you shouldn't why should why you should practice lighting things on fire, because if you lose control you could light the whole house on fire, and it's just like it's a very hard magic.
Okay, so I'm reading, I get the
Yes.
name wrong all the time, but Sarah Moss. Okay, what am I
With the
reading? I
fairies,
can't,
right?
she has that
The it's the
series.
fairies, isn't it?
Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I think both of them have phase in it. And so I'm on, not Throne and Glass, but I don't know. I'm in like somewhere, you know how she has like 8 books in the series and I'm in the fifth
Yeah.
one. But I know what you're saying, like she has her own magic system in there. And I always think it's fascinating because certain characters can only do
Yes,
what they can do in their
kind
magic system. So
of.
is it
Kind
the
of.
same in your
Yes,
6 point of views?
it is. Um, you know how in like Marvel, everyone's kind of like special? Yeah, everyone's a little bit special,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they're like
yeah.
specialized in certain things. But everyone can kind of do the same thing depending on their talent. But it's very much hard magic. So like
Yeah.
there are rules, there are special incantations you're supposed to say, and it may or may not hurt.
That is fascinating. So,
Um,
where did you get the
I
idea for
didn't
this
know
book, or how did
urban
you
fantasy.
know urban
I
fantasy?
kind of fell into it. COVID happened, lockdown happened, um, and then I was like, what do I do now, right? I'm naturally an extroverted person. I like to go out. I
Oh,
like to talk to
right.
people all the time, and that got cut off. I was cut off. And it was hard.
It was hard. And if you remember, you know, New York was where it hit first. My daughter, we actually were in New York when it hit. We were able to fly home. My daughter got COVID, super sick, I know, of March of like 2020. But at the time, like 1 in 5 people were dying. So you'd like pick you and your 5 friends. You're like, oh.
It was
so, yeah.
It was. And then
really
like what happened was I was like, you know what I'm gonna do in my spare time? I used to write a lot of fanfics as a teenager, a lot of fan fiction, and university I'm like, okay, we're gonna write something. Whatever it is, we're just gonna vomit all over these pages because I have nothing else better to do. And then I was watching like Buffy again, and I was watching like all of my favorite shows growing up, and I'm like, I could do that. I could do that. I could just make a new 2020 Buffy and it'd be fine.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Spike, was that his name? Girl, you're going way back in my database. There's like been a lot of stories since then and now, but that show is good. I think I saw.
Yeah.
I saw
so
they haven't finished it again on
was
Netflix.
Like, if 2020 could have a Buffy, I want to be her. That's kind of where it was.
Yeah. Okay, so is this your first novel then to write and publish?
It's a series. I wrote myself into a series. I say that with like a sad face. Because it's like I'm excited. I'm really excited. Why? I'm excited because I'm in love with them. I'm in love with my characters so much. I don't want to stop hanging out with them every night. It's just daunting.
Right?
It's oh my God, I have to write a whole nother one.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have 6 characters in book 1, would all 6 appear in book 2, or do some kind of like naturally fall out because you got a new
the
group
second
of friends
one's worse,
to
actually.
hang out with?
It's worse. Yeah. So like
is it
like
6 plus
without
more?
Spoilers, the group kind of splits up.
Oh.
Yeah, no spoilers. They like at the end they like split up. Something happens and they have to separate. So now we're following it's the same main characters. We're following them very closely, but now they're surrounded by extra people. Which makes sense.
Well, it makes friends. Because like you have a friend group, and then
so it's kind of like that. They split up by like just circumstance, and then now I'm following 2 separate storylines, but they're still kind of like crossing over. And keep in mind, it's an urban fantasy, so they're texting. So in between my chapters, it's their text messages to each other, like, "Hey, how are you doing? What's going on that side of the world? Hey, I sent you a video. Did you see it?" And then there's like messages and videos and like front door camera scenes and like just like snippets of stuff. And then one of the sisters, she like loves to go on Instagram, so she's like, "I found a cat video. Did you like it? Did you like my cat video?" So there's a lot of like they're still talking, and like it's in between the chapters. It doesn't happen in real time, but it's like in your spare time you're still like connected to each other.
Oh my gosh, I love that, because I feel like texting can be daunting because you kind of, I don't know, like you lose the feeling. So when I love that your characters are doing the things that we're doing in real life. I just don't know as an author how I write that so it's like organic to the story.
There's like a scene, it's like after a birthday party. And like the main characters are kind of like falling in love or whatever, and they're going to go on a date after, like they're getting set up to go on a date. And she's in the back kitchen doing something, whatever it is that she's doing. And then he gets a text message from his best friend. And he's like, "Hey, can you drive so-and-so home? Ask her what the end of the world is. See you later. Have a good time." And so he's like, "I don't even know what that means. What is the end of the world?" So he asked her what's the end of the world, and there's this actual place where I live here in Edmonton. Yeah. It's called the End of the World. And it's this, no, it's actually literally the cliffs.
Is
It's a
it the name
cliffside in our city.
of a town?
So downtown overlooks the ravine, and you can actually go down, and it's called the end of the world because it used to be they built it out so it's safe now, so it's not as much fun. But before it was just like a road, and then it literally
Yeah.
crumbles at the edge of the cliffside, and you can see the whole city and the whole ravine, and it's beautiful.
Okay,
No,
that sounds. But do you have
yeah, it is
pictures on
pretty,
your
but I don't have
Instagram of
Instagram
it? 'Cause
pictures
I bet that'd
because
be
it's
so
winter.
pretty.
Still, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's really
Canada in
cold.
the
It's
winter.
only, well, I
Yeah.
mean,
See,
it's
today
minus
was like
one
in the
right now
80s.
in Celsius. I don't know what that is. Is that 12?
What?
Yeah. So, I mean, in the springtime,
Anything
I'll probably
minus?
go
That's
take pictures of it, but
crazy.
it's called
Ugh.
the end of the world. You can go Google it, and there's an actual like trail, and it looks very pretty in the fall and in the summer. There's trees, and you can see the whole city. It's wonderful. And so there's just stuff like that gets dropped um, as text messages. And even like there's this really heavy like tension scene at the end where everyone's arguing, and the only thing that stops them from arguing is somebody's phone ringing. It's like the only thing. It's not even vibrating. It's on. It's just like interrupting the meeting. And they're like, who is calling us at 2 o'clock
Yeah.
in the morning? This is dumb. And then you open up the text messages and the sister's reading them out loud like, hey, this is blah, blah, blah. You need to pick it up at blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, great. We're going to go now.
Okay. Mad respect for writing that. So I'm gonna have to definitely pick up your ebook because one, I want to read it, and plus I like fantasy, but two, I just always like to see how people, work on their craft, how they do it.
Yeah.
Especially when it's something that does not come naturally to me. I think too, my characters in the first book I put out and the one that's coming up at well, gosh, it's
That's
already
okay.
March
That's
this
okay.
month.
And I
There's not a
think
whole
I'm
lot of
so
texting
used to
because I'm just
being
not good at
around
it.
so many people all the time because, like, my family's quite large. I'm the oldest of 24 grandkids on my mother's side. So I'm just very much used to 3 or 4 people talking to me at the same time all the time. And sometimes they're yelling at me, and I don't know why they're yelling. I think they're just yelling to be louder than the other person. But I'm just so used to being surrounded and talked at
Yeah.
by 4 or 5 different people at the same time that having 6 POVs happening at the same time feels more natural than having one person talk to me. Yeah.
Okay, that is really neat. I like that perspective, but I know what you're saying because
Yeah.
my family has dwindled in size. People move away, or like my nieces and nephews now have kids and they move away. But I know
Yeah.
when you're at Christmas, it's
Yeah.
like
When my
87
husband met my
conversations going on,
family
and
for
it's
the first
chaos.
time when we were dating, I did not tell him. I said, no, I just said, hi, yeah, my mom's having like her sisters
At all.
over.
You
But
just dropped
he
it
doesn't
in.
know that my mom has 6 sisters. So it's like just a small family dinner, like we're just so you can like meet
Oh
the
my
family. And then
gosh.
he shows up and there's like 12 kids and like 6 aunts and 6 uncles and there's like a spread and he's like, what is happening? I'm like, okay, this is my aunt and this is my aunt, this is my aunt. Okay, bye, have fun. I'm gonna hang out with my family now.
Okay,
Yeah, it's him
is
and
he
his
like an
sister
only child, or is
for the
it
most
like
part.
like him and a brother or something?
Yeah.
That is totally
And
mean
it
of
was so
you. I
funny.
bet
So
he
for
was
the
shell
first few
shocked. He was
years, he
like, "Can
actually
we
created
go?
an
Can we
Excel
go?"
spreadsheet of my family. He would never. I still haven't seen it, but it's like who's related to who's what's birthday, and like what's their name. And then every time I would say, "Hey, we need to go to this person's house," he goes, "Okay, hold on, let me double check who that is for his spreadsheet."
There you go, spreadsheet. Oh my gosh, I love that. What a little nerd. I love when people
Yeah.
have their like little
So I mean, he's
hacks.
better
I'm always
now.
fascinated by
He's pretty much
those.
used to everybody now. It's been a while, but yeah, he had to do that a couple of times.
Oh, I bet. It sounds like he sounds like an engineer.
Yeah,
I
he's an
have several
engineer.
engineer friends and they're so like analytical, like everything. I, I knew it. I knew it. Yeah. And so that is so funny because you guys have got to be as opposite as can be because he's probably super analytical, has a line item plan, and then you're over here
Actually,
creating a
we're pretty
magic
much the same
system and
on like that level.
fantasy.
Yeah, because he's very much like I'm a really big nerd,
Really?
so it's fine. I know.
You do not seem
I
like a
know.
nerd.
I'm a
You're
really
like
big nerd. Like, if you could see my desk, I have like
you broke the
neon
mold.
lights, and I have like my gaming laptop, and I have like 3 screens, and we play video games every night. In like board games, video games, like all of it. And I don't know. He's if you're gonna read it, anything that's funny, that's him. I wrote all the jokes and I sent it to him. I'm like, hey, are these funny? If he laughed out loud, stamp of approval, that goes into the book. So
Heck yeah.
he's not a reader.
Okay, does he read your books then?
We had to find an auto reader for like this robotic Microsoft woman for him to do it.
Yeah.
It was
Those are the worst. I know that you can pay for like what natural readers, I think naturalreaders.com. But I have used the ones on Microsoft, and
they're awful.
I know
So that's how he read the whole book.
Update the voices, but
he
still
put it
awful.
through Microsoft. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well that man deserves a reward.
And it's really funny because there are some places, because I'm Filipino, so the family's Filipino, and some of the things that the grandmother says, it's in Tagalog, it's in Filipino, it's written out that way. So when he was listening to the book with the auto robot, he's like, that's pronounced wrong. And I can't stop laughing because it's pronouncing it wrong. No.
Is he Filipino too?
Around for so long, like you can just tell.
You know that. Ah, that is cool.
You can ask where the bathroom is.
He speaks a little bit.
That's like about it.
No. That's so cute, though.
Yeah,
okay, so
I'm working on the second book. I'm like way too committed to these people, so I'm gonna try and hash it out this year and see what happens.
So how long does it?
This one it was a year, and then I mean edits.
How long have you been working on this?
Probably another 6 months because they're edits. And then even when you think you're done, you're like, I'm still editing. My God.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because people say you should like let your manuscript rest and stuff like that. I never do that because I'm way too impatient, and then I set these like super unrealistic deadlines. But there is a method to that because then everything when you come back to it, it's glaring.
Yeah. So I mean, it took me like 6 more months, so maybe a year and a half to finish the first book. I mean, I'm technically a quarter done the second one, so we're in good shape for next year, maybe, question mark, hopefully. Or at least be doing edits next year.
You want to publish it next year?
The goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're writing it right now. Okay. And so
I don't know. Is that a bad thing to say?
Are in that series?
I don't know.
Heck no, I was sitting on a call sometime this week that's all running together, and she was like, yeah, I started out as a trilogy, and now she's writing her 11th book in this series. I know. So every time she kept going, she had to like go back and fix those covers that had the word like trilogy, and she's like, I
didn't put one. I didn't put anything on it. I just wrote Solem because like Solem technically in Latin means alone. It means one. So I'm like, that's one. We're gonna name it one.
Okay. Right.
Yes. I'm
okay.
gonna keep going with that. So it's 2 technically. We'll find another word for 2, and then we'll find another word for 3. But yeah, I just didn't want to like.
That is so creative. I like that.
It's not
I
gotten,
like that because I was
actually.
going to ask, where did you come up with your title?
I was researching about how people publish books, and like some people don't put numbers on them anymore because I think it's like people are like, oh, I have to read the first one to get to the last one, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna cheat and say
Oh,
this
yeah.
is one.
But I like that. I mean, okay, so when you put it on Amazon, there
I
couldn't have
don't
been
think
any
so.
other
It
books
wasn't really
with
much
that
of a
title,
concern at the
right?
time, but I didn't really find anyone else calling it Solum or
Yeah.
calling theirs Solum, so win for me, I guess.
I know that's genius because then, it also can be your
Like
hashtags. You can use
sometimes
it
I
in
come up
social
with smart things. I
media.
don't know.
I mean, that's really genius.
Yeah.
You're like, every now and again. So do you like to use, okay, so I know the robot reads to him. What do you
I
plan
don't
on
have
doing? Do you have
anybody. The
betas? Do
first
you
one I
have an
wrote by
art
myself
team?
without anybody. I didn't even know betas were real. I didn't know ARC people were
Oh,
real. I
wow.
just was like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna publish it and I'm gonna
Yeah,
do it all by myself because
yeah.
I didn't know.
Well, and sometimes I really feel like you have to be on the journey for then like the next step or the other questions. Like you don't know what you don't know until
Yeah,
you're on the road
because like I had one
traveling down it, and then
friend
you're like, oh,
read it and
yeah,
she said it was fine. And then I had and then I found an editor on, I forget what site it was on. It was just like a online website. I'm like, okay, I just need someone to look through this, find all my mistakes, and then she emailed me back and said, it's a great book, it's just boring. And I was like, oh, okay. Thank you. She goes, if you're
no
gonna send it out as a fantasy
way.
book, there's not as much magic as I thought there would be in it. And it's really boring. I'm like, okay. So then I spent 2 weeks rehashing the whole thing,
Hey.
and then Solem came out, and this is what it is now.
Okay, you only took 2 weeks? Girl, it takes me that to do my read through because I'm like, I don't like the way that
Yeah,
sounds.
no, I was
That's
like,
not
I
done,
did
take
it
that
for a
out. I mean, my
year,
read
and
through
then
is
the
a
editor said it
mess.
was boring, so then I cut everything up, and then I glued it back together, and then I added a couple things, and now it is what it is now, whatever that it is now. And everyone seems to like it so far. Yeah, so it's not boring, that's for sure.
So you did it. It worked. Good. I know it's hard to take criticism like that because, I mean, it's one thing when someone means it to be constructive to make your product better. It's
Yeah,
another
it
when
was a
people are
good
just
edit. And then when I
weebs. It
sent it
sounds
back,
like
she's
this
like,
was
this
a
is a different
good
book.
edit.
I'm like, wasn't that what you wanted me to do? Yeah. So it took
I'm
me two
like,
weeks. So I have a
oh,
day
there it
job.
is.
I
Let me
was
grab my
working nine
phone
to
back.
five. I would eat dinner, and then I'm like, okay, bye everybody. I'm not talking to you for 2 weeks. So I would write from 6 p.m. to midnight, Monday to Friday. And then Saturday I'd wake up at 8. And then I'd work on Saturday and Sunday I wake up at 8, and then I would work until
Whew.
midnight to get that done in 2 weeks. And I'm like, I'm not doing that ever again.
Oh my gosh, those are killer hours. I know. Sometimes, like,
Yeah.
don't you get to the point where you're like, I can't
Yeah.
even stand this book. I can't
Yeah.
even read it one more
So
time. I'm like, don't ask me to
it
read
was
it one
fun.
more time. I bet. Okay, so what is then your favorite
My
part about
favorite
writing?
part
Favorite
is like
and least
being
favorite?
surprised because I'm a pantser. All my characters just do whatever the hell they want all the time. So it's really fun.
Yeah,
My least favorite part
they
is
run amok.
consistency. Finding the consistency. Like his eyes are green and then 3 hours later his eyes are brown. I'm like, shit. What? What?
Okay, so me and Linda Ling, I don't know if she's still on here, the one from Singapore. We were talking about that on her in her comment section earlier today because she said her husband was like, did this guy get LASIK or not? Because you're saying like he got LASIK, but he's also wearing glasses, so which is it? And I was like, Hey,
Yeah.
that happens. We forget. Yeah. Or like my character, my editor picked it up because, you read through it and you edit it and you edit it. And, I edit in pieces. I edit all the way through. And
Yeah.
sometimes you're just
Yeah.
like, I forgot
So
his eyes were blue and not green. And it's hard to do a book Bible, like I try to keep up with the book Bible for all the characters so I can remember, oh, he has the dimple on
yeah,
the left
so
side or,
you know how my
just
husband
whatever,
has
but
a spreadsheet, I have
that can be
spreadsheets.
challenging.
I have spreadsheets for each character, and it lays out their color, their eye color, their hair color, what kind of hairstyle they
Ooh,
like, what's their favorite coffee, how do they like their coffee, what's their favorite sweater, what shampoo they have, like everything you can think of a person would like to have or do in their every day. I have a list of it in an Excel spreadsheet for each person. Even the side characters, I have a spreadsheet for each side character's like likes and dislikes, what their favorite jacket is, what's their shirt size. It's awful.
okay,
I don't know. I
okay,
think
so
I just
that's
like doing
kind
it
of a
because we used to
plotter,
play a lot of
right?
Dungeons and Dragons, and so like the more fun it was more fun to roll the dice and
Uh-huh.
create your character, and I think that's where that comes from.
Okay, I can see that. Okay, you can like literally hang those Excel spreadsheets on your
That's
website.
true.
As like
Yeah, that's
I mean, don't
true.
people love character
I could.
profiles? I
They're
think
always just
readers
they're
do.
just never solid. Like if I change something in the book, then at least I can like change it really quickly. It's not like a Bible. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, sentence. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, okay, I gotta write this down because I need to do that.
Yeah, I could
Or maybe
send
I
it to
just need to
you.
give a template
I
and
just
then I could
I
just
just
fill
took
in the
it from
blank.
somebody else, so
That's cheating, right? I love that. I just get to where it would obviously benefit, me and any of the writers listening, but I get sometimes where I just don't even want to do the work because I'm like, well, this
yeah,
takes
I
time
think
away
the
from
most
writing and I'm
fun
up
is
against
like
a
making up a
deadline
new
and
character and then
yeah.
figuring out who they are. It's I don't know. It's fun.
Okay. So that leaves me like, are you
I think it's a
plot driven or
50-50
character
because I know
driven?
where I want the story to go, but I let them figure
Mm-hmm.
their way out. Do you know that? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my book that's coming out in March, she has the inciting event and she leaves to go cool off because she literally is told to leave. And the next thing I know, she's at a truck stop, getting into a fist fight. And I was like, oh, she's supposed to be cooling
Yeah.
off, not going to a truck stop and get into another fist fight, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the characters
And like
walk
I
off the
think I have a
page
lot of
with your
fun with them
story. And
because
it's
there's
really
6 of
neat when
them.
that happens.
So they're like friends. Yeah, I
Oh yeah.
think there's 6 people in
It's
Friends.
like
Yeah.
friends.
So like
Aren't
the
there
older brother
six
is
people in
trying, like
friends?
the oldest brother, he's like the most responsible. He's trying to like keep his sisters in line. Obviously, they don't give a shit. They just want to like go off and do whatever they want, and they just give him like a headache all the time, and he's always angry about it. And then now he has to like deal with these 2 other people who are in the house, and he hates it. He hates it so much because obviously he loves his sisters. He's trying to be protective of his sisters, and these are 2 men. They're just 2 men who live in their house now, and he's just like they can't be here. They can't be together. Everyone has to leave. They need to leave, and it's just so funny.
Okay. I think that is so realistic how you described him because I feel like there's a lot of firstborn kids that are like these damn
Yeah,
siblings or my, and then the younger ones,
yeah,
they
yeah. It's
don't
really
care. Like they
funny.
do
And
not
then
care. They're
like
like, yeah,
he has these
mama
2
or dad,
guys who live in their house, and he has to deal with them now, and he's just like, God, I just hate you. I hate you so much. Just leave, but I need you to be here, which really sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like there's so many people that can relate to that.
Yeah, like
But I mean,
they're
isn't
it's
it
so
fun
fun,
to
and
write
like they're
relatable
really based off of my
characters?
relationships with my family, with my cousins and stuff, because we're really close. There's a lot of us around the same age. Like on my dad's side, there was three of
Hmm.
us that grew up together, and we're the three of us are the same age. We did everything together. Um, yeah, and like we still kind of hang out and we
Oh,
talk a lot.
that's
So I mean, most
fun.
of the relationships that the characters have are based off of things that happen to me or like things my cousins say. Like one of them, she's 10 years younger than me. She's literally my little sister. She was my maid of honor when I got married. And every time I see her, she's like, "Why are you so old? Like you're just like, what's wrong with you? Like why are you wearing that?" I'm like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you so rude? I literally braid your hair." Like she's so mean to me all the time, but it's all like love.
Yeah. But see, I think that's what makes the writing
Yeah,
so rich is when you have relatable characters, when you're
yeah,
taking from your
yeah.
experience and
So I mean, I
infusing
don't know
into
if
these
you read it,
people,
like I find them
it's the
enjoyable because,
best.
and I wrote them. This is really sad, but like I wrote, it was during COVID, and I was missing my family. I couldn't yell at anybody. No one was yelling at me. We weren't arguing about anything. So I made up a family that argues and just like got mad at each other for no
Yeah.
reason. But they're a lot of fun.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, it's from the
Okay, so
family,
where do your
and it's
ideas
from
come
like
from? Is it from the
movies and
family?
video games that I play. Again, I wrote a lot of fanfics as a kid. So some of it is like rehashed stuff that people will never read in their lives, and I hope that it burns.
I was
No,
just
because I
about to
can't find
ask you, like,
it.
are you
Well,
going
also
to
I don't want to,
publish
but like
any of
I
that
can't find
original?
it.
Oh,
There was one fanfic that me and my cousin shared before Google Documents. We would write it all in Word, and we would send each other the same document over and over
yeah.
and over again. And I think it was like 80 pages or something, but neither of us can find it. It got lost. Yeah, and it's just like some of
No
it is rehashed or like
way.
vague memories of what we did there, and then I kind of like pushed it over. So yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of me in this book, I guess.
And that's so sweet, though. I know I used to have a lot of work. And I think
Yeah,
I have it on a drive somewhere. I
but
just need to
yeah,
take the time to go
just
and
it's
find it.
gone. Like we tried for years to find it in all of our anything that we could find. Yeah, she's right here, creative corner. That's that's my cousin, and she's the one we used to send the documents to each other, literally on email before Google Docs, and it was just like this thing that we did weekly. I don't know. So yeah, okay.
Sorry for all the coughing. We had like, rain
Oh my
today, and I
gosh,
stood on the rain, got rained on. So now I like have this little tickle. I'm like, oh no, not good.
I know.
Yeah, I see her
Yeah,
love. Thanks,
we grew
Creative
up
Corner. Look at
together.
all those
Hi, Chloe.
hearts. Okay, so we talked a little bit about you being a pantser on this awesome spreadsheet. But what advice would you give, and you're published, so what advice would you give other
I
people starting out? Or
wish I
what do you
knew that
wish
there
you
was an actual
knew
community
before
for
you
this.
published?
Um, I did most of it by myself with
Mm,
and like all of
yeah.
my ideas and all of the help that I got with monsters or magic systems or political anything, they came from my friends. Um, Anything that I asked, they'd give me their opinion. If I wanted, I asked them once, "What's an asshole name? What's a name that you hate that is a jerk?" And then all of them are like, "This one." So I'm like, "All right, so that's his name now." Okay. Or
Yes!
I would say,
I love that.
pick a day, month, and year.
Yeah.
And they said this. I'm like, okay, that's somebody's birthday. Thank you. So like it's nice that I had them, but it's also like I really wish that I knew there was an actual author community because I mean everyone's really supportive and everyone wants to bounce um ideas off of each other and like the people in different genres give you ideas of what's in there, and then you can kind of steal from each other, and it's kind of nice, right? Instead of doing it alone most of the time. Yeah.
Well, when we write, no one can do it for you. Sometimes, you're sitting and writing, or if you transcribe, or however your writing protocol is. And so
Mm-hmm.
that in and of itself is very solitary. And so sometimes, it can be a little lonely depending on where you write or how much writing, like you said, in that 2 weeks that you just like blitzed it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
It was,
lovely.
yeah, it's
So
really
it's
nice to have
lovely to
them
have a
now that I'm
writing
out and
community.
like in the world with my book. Um, yeah, is that okay?
Do you want to answer that?
So,
Okay, do you
okay,
want to
thanks.
read the question
Um,
and answer it?
so yeah,
Of
Solem is the
course.
start of a series.
This is
I don't know how
yours.
many. I wish I could tell you how many. Thanks, guys. It's a series. If you finish the book, it's a cliffhanger. I'm really sorry for people who don't like cliffhangers. But yeah, it's a series. I don't know how many. More than three, I think. It feels like more than three. But
Because
no, I
sometimes when
don't.
you have a cast of characters, you don't want to leave them. I think I had heard, everybody knows J.K. Rowling's right. And she had said she was in mourning. So she had had Harry Potter from start to finish, and then the
Yeah,
movies and the franchise and everything, 17 years. And that is a long time to live in the same world. And she said, I felt like someone, when it was over, when it was the true
yeah,
end of it all,
yeah. Because
she said, I felt like I was
they do
mourning like
consume
someone had
me
died.
every day. And I think about them every day. And anytime somebody says something funny, I'm like, okay, someone did something, and then I write it down. Or I'll text my husband. There was a joke. What did I
Oh,
hear the other day?
yeah.
Oh no, I lost it. It's probably on a post-it somewhere on my desk, and I don't know where. But in my idea notebook, yeah.
In
But
your
yeah,
idea
anything.
notebook.
Hmm.
Okay, so look, but that brings up a good point. Like, we do get feedback from our environment. You overhear conversations. You go to dinner, there's like a kooky little character that walks into the restaurant. So do you have what I call like shiny new idea syndrome, where you don't necessarily want to work on your whip because you're like, oh my gosh,
No.
this would be a great idea for a
What
new book and a
happens
new
to
book and
me
a new
then
book.
is that I write a fan fiction about them, and it's bad. It's really, really bad. Cause like I was talking to one of my friends, and he's like, okay. I was like, this needs to happen, and I thought about this idea. What do you think about it? And he's like, write it. And I'm like, okay. Um, um, and I wrote it out, and then all of a sudden I started using the same character names, and then they were the same people, and they were doing the things that they were like my original characters were going to do. I'm like, you know what? She's a fanfic. I'm just writing a fanfic. That's it. Game over. It's not a new work in progress. It's just a different story in a
Yeah.
different universe with the same people.
Yeah, that's cute. Chloe said, say something. So her goal is say something
Okay.
iconic enough to make it into one of your books.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
especially because you're in the
really
middle of
wanted
writing it.
to. Okay, hold on.
Oh,
Maybe I can find it. Maybe, and I can just like, because I text my husband all the time and I just give him stuff. I'm like, is this funny? He goes, yeah, that's funny. And then I'll keep it. Mm, yeah, I'll share one. I just gotta find it. I'm just like in front of my
are you going
laptop.
to share one?
Mhm. Rewrite. Okay, so at the end of a chapter, her name is Amelia. She's like a really badass kind of girl, and she doesn't like take no
Okay.
shit. And she's talking to her cousin. Her name is Sophie, who they don't like each other at all. They're just like
Mm-hmm.
oil and water. And I guess they had to make a deal. And Amelia goes, "Don't, don't fuck me, Sophie. I trust you as much as I can throw you." Sophie squeezed her palm at her childish nickname and says, "That would be incestual." That's it.
Okay, so that is a cute little bit. So, is that
Actually,
based on two
everyone
of
in my
your
family kind of
cousins
just
that
like
probably
gets
don't get
along.
along?
Everyone likes to
Or do you guys
sass
all
each
get
other
along?
though, so the sass is real. Yeah,
Nice. No,
yeah,
but I love,
yeah,
that's what I
they're
love. I
always like
love
that. And like
bantery dialogue. Yeah.
I was on vacation with my brother a couple weekends ago, and we're sitting in the hot tub, and he's like, "Why are you even here? Who invited you?" I'm like, "Excuse me, you're the adopted one." He's not adopted. I'm like, "You're adopted." He's like, "I wish I was adopted. You're so ugly."
Dude, always siblings, right? So like you can
Yeah,
bicker amongst yourself, but if
yeah.
someone
So
goes after you, like, oh, you got all of us
yeah,
now.
so like that's
You're
me and
like,
my
only
brother,
I can
and
call him
him and my brother
ugly.
like him and my husband like to team up. So they'll both make fun of me. I'm like, both of you need to shush, get out. Yeah, yeah.
You're like, else, y'all are going to my
So
book as the
anything that's
villain.
like sassy, it's literally my family, my friends. That's just like hard love, I guess.
Yeah, a little tough love. Okay, so what makes a good book? Like when you
I'm
read a book,
looking.
what are the
It kind of
elements that
depends on what
you're
I'm reading
looking
because I'll
for?
read almost anything. But yes, I do, except horror because I'm a wuss.
You read all genres then.
Like,
I can't do it because I like every bump in the night. And sometimes
yeah,
if I, some paranormal is
what is happening?
fine if it's ridiculous, but if
It's
it's like
scary.
spiritual paranormal, I'm like,
But
oh,
it does depend on what I'm reading. Like if it's a romance book, I want that
yeah.
rom-com, she's all that kind of feeling. And like if it's a whodunit, I want to feel like, okay, maybe I am the detective and I can figure out what this person said and I have to go back and read it again to make sure that I read that clue correctly, whether or not it was a real clue or not. So I think just if the book is absorbs you
Uh-huh.
enough, I think that's what makes a great book.
That's good. I agree with you because my books tend to be, I'm a dark romance author, and so mine always have content warnings. There's always triggering events. But to me, I do
Mhm.
want something thought provoking. That's why I like to read a lot of different genres because I don't. My sister calls it popcorn reading. We're like, it's like
Yeah,
it's something to do, but it doesn't satisfy you. And she says, some people just like that. They just want like a little cheesy little, yeah. So they don't have to think it's a break
yeah,
in their
no,
life.
that's
I'm
okay.
like,
Cause
oh,
like one Christmas, I
maybe I
bought my
should be
mother-in-law all
writing
of
that.
these cozy. They're called cozy mysteries, and I thought they were funny because they were all like baking puns. The title of the books
Yeah.
were baking puns, and it was like on thin icing or like something like that. I thought they were so funny and so cute. So I got her a whole bunch of those because she
That's
really
so
likes to
cute
read
though.
mysteries and murder mysteries. So I'm like, this is like
Yeah.
easy weekend reading. Yeah.
It's like Hallmark movies, but for mystery. Yeah. So how do you
Um,
stay motivated to
yeah,
write?
I think it's just,
Because that's a big challenge with
I don't know if it's
authors.
motivation, but it is, I'm just so in love with them. Like, if I don't write anything, I feel like they're mad at me. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like if I don't hang out with
That's
them
so
for at least half an hour in a
sweet.
day, they're mad at me. So I have to do something. I write
So
every
you,
day, whether it's half an
so
hour
you
or
write
the whole night.
every day.
I write something, whether it's two sentences, a paragraph. Like I have to be in it to feel like I hung out with them today. So I'm probably gonna do that later.
I love that. I love that. I hope authors take that from this interview. That's such a great piece of advice because we, we beat ourselves up. I didn't spend enough time with them, or I didn't write every
Mm-hmm.
day, or I have to write it. I mean, we just put ourselves in such like mental paralysis with all this junk going
Yeah,
on.
I
And
do.
the
I
way
really
you
know that.
frame it is like, I'm
Yeah,
going to hang out with my
like I do.
friends.
I think that they're my
And
friends,
I'm
and I
like,
even
okay,
tell like
I'm
my
going to do it
husband and
every
my other
day.
friends, I'm like, I'm gonna go upstairs and hang out with my friends. Bye. Yeah,
That's so
because then it doesn't
sweet.
feel
I
like
love
work, and it
that. That's
shouldn't
a
feel
great
like
way to think
work.
about it.
Well, I don't think it should feel like work anyway, but yes,
So then do you ever get
I
writer's
do
block? Do
get
you
into
ever
writer's block.
write yourself into a
Um,
corner
and
maybe?
then if I do, I just go into a different chapter and I edit it. I'll just pick something else and I'll edit it, and then I don't know how it works out, but it kind of works out.
No, I can
Hmm.
see it because if you're kind of written yourself, if you're at a writer's block there and you go back in and you're reworking the story, it can then trigger like,
Yeah.
oh, you know what, I
So
should go this way and I should take the story that way. So I
yeah,
can
so I
see
like
it.
go
Like
back,
you're still
edit
working the
something,
story,
or
but
I'll
from a
I'll
different
pick
angle.
like a dialogue section that I thought was kind of mediocre, and then I'll try to work it, make it either more dramatic or make someone say
Yeah.
something funny, like just get them to be more alive, I guess. And then it'll fix it. I find that it just fixes itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so a couple other questions. Do you
I do
like Easter
have Easter
eggs? Are you
eggs
going to
in
use
it.
Easter eggs in
There
your
are a couple.
series? Ooh, I
Okay,
love
so
them.
lots
I just
of my
don't know
Easter
how to
eggs are
necessarily
mostly
do them,
inside
so
jokes
educate
or
me.
like secret shout outs to my friends. Um, so one of my best friends, my
Yeah.
friends in real life. Yeah, my friends in real life.
Oh, to your
So one
friends
of
in
my
real life,
best
not the
friends,
friends in the.
she
Okay.
loves gray sweatpants season for some reason. And I'm like, okay, I don't really, yeah. And I'm
Okay.
okay, like, great.
Don't we
So then there
all?
is like a couple of, there's a scene where the main character walks in his gray sweatpants, and she's like, and the girl, Amelia, she's like, you need to change. I'm not prancing you around without a shirt on and gray sweatpants. Like, get out of here. And that's just for her. Like little tiny Easter eggs.
Okay, so would your readers be able to pick up, like I know you're in book 2, right? Are you going to put
Um,
Easter eggs
I
where
would
your
hope so.
readers can
There
find them or
are a
pick them up?
couple of things that I think they'll like cross over. Um, I don't know what they will be yet,
Mhm.
but I mean, if you read the first one, and there is an inside joke of like marrying one of his sisters off for a goat, so that's kind of like an ongoing theme. Like, oh, yeah, we're just waiting for this goat to show up so we can get rid of you. Um, so eventually, I want
Yeah.
one of the love interests
Yeah.
to show up and hang out with the brother and be like, "Hey, I got you that goat," and like hand him like this plastic goat, and he's right. So like just like little things like that, just like a
That's
callback.
awesome. No, but it's true. I mean, some of the most talented writers use Easter eggs, and I marvel at it. I find it sounds so easy in
Yeah,
theory, but to actually
and
do it
like
well, I
there
feel like it's
is
really challenging.
an ongoing theme. There's a lot of ongoing themes, I guess, now that I'm saying it out loud. There's one of the main characters. He leaves his sweater on the couch every day. He lives there. No one likes it. Everyone hates the fact that there's just this
Mhm.
sweater that's on the couch every day. And people remind him, hey, you got to pick up your sweater. Like, grandma's going to get really ticked
Yeah.
off at you. Hey, grandma's going to get really ticked off at you. And then by the end of the book, the sweater is their saving grace.
Oh, and see, and that's so true because that's like
Yeah,
people. I mean, we all,
yeah,
I call it like you get like blind to it, right? And you're like, you
yeah.
walk by and you walk by and
Yeah.
you walk by,
So
and you're like,
like at the
dude,
end of the
fix it,
book,
pick it up or
it's like the
something.
only thing that they have to wrap this person in. So it's just like it's kind of it's there for a reason, but like also it's not. It's
Hmm.
just there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
And then it
funny.
makes your characters even
Yeah.
more realistic
So everything that they
because we
do
can
is
relate
like
to
everything that
that.
I leave, like bad habit, I leave socks everywhere. The minute I walk into the house, there's socks on the floor. I don't like them. And there's socks everywhere. Even my friends are like, Gab, just pick up your socks. Like, you know you have friends over. I'm like, yeah, but you're not friends anymore. You like live here. Um,
You're like, yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Like, with
yeah,
stairs, you know how like everyone leaves everything on the stairs. So like when you go up the stairs, you
yeah,
take it
and we
with
do
you.
that
Like people
too.
like
Yeah,
up that,
it's
and I was
so
like,
funny.
dude, take
So
what's on the
funny.
stairs with you. So that sounds like the fun part of writing. What is the
Yeah,
hard part of writing?
consistency mostly. It's like going back and then reading your grammar and then trying to figure out what did this person say 4 chapters ago so that they're not saying the opposite thing now. Because it's the same person.
I totally agree with you because, you know, we always write in pieces. Nobody sits down, or at least I don't know anybody that has sat down and wrote the whole thing start to finish. And so um,
Mhm.
you can, like, you can contradict yourself and not even know it because you know, you're in a different mood, you're in a different headspace that day, what you wrote a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And so I think that is hard. I mean,
Mhm.
that's where I think, like we were talking about earlier, about having a good editor or good beta is because you're just like, you
Yeah,
already said something
that's the
different.
worst part, I think,
Yeah,
about
that is a
writing.
really difficult one. Yeah, I encountered that today because I was where she was angry, and then this one, I was writing today where she was happy, and I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, did I have a
yeah,
bad day? And I was writing it because, and now today I'm happy. Like, where is, Yeah. Well, we have a
okay,
few minutes left. So I'm going to do rapid fire,
okay.
and then we'll close out with whatever you want to ask or talk about. Okay? Okay.
Paper.
So, paperback or e-reader?
I'm a
Oh,
pantser.
okay. Plotting and pantser,
Third.
first person or third person,
Oh,
writing
oh.
alone or writing with a partner. So I guess if one of us
I
hosts, you're not
tried.
going to ever be
I
hosting
tried to do a
writing
writing
sprints.
sprint
Like,
and I
let's
tried to
all
join a writing group.
write
It
together.
just doesn't I can't. I don't feel motivated. I don't know why.
I find that the times don't align. You know, like people want to do it at 10 in the
Yeah.
morning or like 8. You know, I'm just
So
like, I don't know what I'm doing
no.
at 10 in the morning or 8 o'clock at night. Yeah. Yeah.
Discovery.
Outline or
It's
discovery
the best.
writer.
It's better.
Isn't that the best? I feel
Yeah,
like there's such
I think
magic
so
and like
too.
secrets in it when you just discover it along with your characters.
Music.
Okay, writing in
It
silence or
depends.
with music?
Um,
What kind of
on
music?
everything. If I'm like doing a
On the
descriptor,
scene?
like right now it's like Christmas, so I'm listening to Christmas music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like if it's a
Of
scene,
course.
I
Hello. You got to
it's
get in
really
the
weird. I
mood.
have this whole playlist, and each chapter has their own song, and I will listen to that one song over and over again
Oh.
until the chapter is finished. No, I have had once.
Is your husband like, stop listening to that song?
Probably
You,
not from the
you
songs,
give him a
but
tick?
it's
Maybe you give
really
yourself a
funny
tick from listening to
because
that
I still
song and
do.
you're like, I can never listen to that song again.
I
Do you
have a
have
link.
your
Do I have a link on
playlist
my website?
linked on your
No, I
website?
should probably do that.
Yeah, it's fun because I have it linked on my
Hmm.
website, you know, so Like when you go on there, it's my books. You can like buy it, and then Goodreads is a shelf. And then I have the playlist. And I've actually had like 4 or 5 people reach out to me. And they're like, I love your books playlist. I was like, okay, tell me yours.
Okay,
Chloe
so it
is
took me a
asking, how
year
long did
and
it
then
take
about
you to
6
write
months of editing.
Solem?
And then I said before, the editor that I found told me it was boring. So then I rehashed it, I chopped it up, stitched it together in 2 weeks. I blitzed it. Yep.
You
So
blitzed
whatever
it. You
whatever it
blitzed
is now,
it.
that's the 2 week amount of work that happened. I didn't see or talk to anybody.
Fine.
Yeah. No going back.
Final product. Yeah, no go backs.
It depends
Writing with a deadline or at your own
on me.
pace? On?
Because sometimes I like having deadlines. Like I want it. Like I mean, for the second one, I want it to be finished by December, the first draft. Then at least in 2024, I can like edit it. So I mean, I have time. Yeah.
Quasi
Yeah.
deadlines, right? Quasi, yeah.
Yeah, series.
Series or standalones, we already talked about that. Yep. Historical setting,
It depends
present day, or
on what
future.
it is. What genre? Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to read a
On what
sci-fi book,
genre or the book
I would want
itself?
it to be future. And maybe, or if they're clever, they're future historic, you know, like people are clever. They can do it. So I think it just depends.
Yeah, I'm in this author group, and I mean, you're right, people are clever because she just published a
Perfect.
merman sea creature romance. And I was like, okay, say it again. And she says, oh yeah, there's a huge like subgenre of sea creatures. And I was like kind of like Ariel, you know, like I mean, there's so many subcategories or subgenres.
Yeah.
So I was like
The TBR list
fascinated.
is
So it's on
getting
my
big.
TBR.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's like insurmountable but long. Yeah. Well, that is all the questions I have for you. Is there
Just
anything that
how
you want to talk about? Anything you want to
you
ask?
started out with your author life, your author journey.
Um, definitely not the traditional route. So I was in corporate America for 30 years, and anytime that I had kind of like some difficult times or like seasons, like 2020 was really difficult. We worked a lot. I was working 80 hours a week. When I went through my divorce, I would turn to writing just to help me process through my emotions. So I'm not an outwardly emotional person. A lot of times my friends were like, you're just like a dude. But I was like, there's some feelings in there. I got 1 or 2. So I started
That's
writing
awesome.
stories. I have 10 novels, and thank you. But I don't know if I'll ever publish them because when I go back to
That's
review
fair.
them, they're very dark, they're very
That's
sad, and
fair.
it kind of puts me back into like that place
I'm
I
gonna, okay, hold
was.
on.
Yeah.
I lost my grandparents in 2021.
Oh, I'm so
And I miss
sorry.
them.
That's so new.
That was probably not a
Honey.
good idea to bring up, but they died at the same time. I couldn't say goodbye because COVID restrictions. So they're here in my book.
Yeah, that's so hard.
They're just there.
Isn't that beautiful? I swear that's one of the most beautiful ways to honor them. And they're looking down from you from heaven above. So proud of you. But I do think that when you write them in your
Yeah.
book, they're there with you. More so, I mean, they're always there with you naturally, but when you're writing them, I feel like they're co-creators with you. How beautiful is that? See, those tears are because they mean so much to you.
Oh, that's
I understand. I lost my dad, oh gosh, 7 years ago. And so my character in this book that comes out March 23rd, her dad was like kind of really similar to my dad. And I think that's what is the richness, right? I mean, that's why we love people. That's how we make our writing better, is because it, I know, hugs,
okay.
right? I think
It's
we're all
okay. Have you seen, what's it
hugs.
called? WandaVision?
No, okay. So kind of,
That's okay.
yes, but I haven't sat through it
There's this
because
scene that
I
Vision is in,
have like no
and
patience.
Wanda is crying her eyes out because she just found out he's dead. And he goes, "It's okay. Grief is just love trying to find its way home." And I know it's silly, that's like the only thing that I can
So
remember of it.
sweet. No, because again, the book that I have coming out,
Yeah.
she's my main character lost her father, and so she's sharing, you know, how her emotions are with her love interest. And he says to her, grief is not meant to be healed, it's just meant to be carried with us. And I do think we carry it with us. You know, like I've had 7 years now since my father died. He was a very, very spiritual person, incredibly spiritual. And so I was sad for
Mm-hmm.
us, but he used to study religions. So he used to study religions. He would study like the spread of, like, let's say Christianity, when it would spread over to China, and then communism would push it back. So he studied like Hindu and Buddhist. He was fascinated by religions and
Yeah.
then their geographical territory, if you, for lack of a better word. And so he passed. I was so happy. You know, it's more like the celebration of life for him, because now he's going to go back and get like all the answers he's ever asked, all of it. So I'm like, how can
Right? Yeah.
you
It's
be
not.
so sad
That's not
for
fair.
us and deny
But
him that? Mm-hmm. No, and I couldn't do that. And so, you know, now that's the way I thought of it. I'm one of 4 girls, so not as many sisters as mama has.
yeah, I mean, I like.
But I think we grieve different ways. And my sister didn't see it that way. She's like, I
You
wanted
don't
more
get to
time and more
choose,
time. I'm like,
right? But
you don't.
they're with me and they're in my book because it's just about the family, like loyalty, the family sass, and like romance or whatever, the love that you missed. So
Oh, yeah. And that's a beautiful tribute to them.
thanks.
That's so sweet.
Oh, I'm always nervous.
See, just
Always,
think you were
I'm always
nervous.
nervous. As Eric shows up, you say that because every time anything comes up, I'm like, Eric, I'm nervous. He's like, you're always nervous. I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like, just chill out. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm like freaking out. He's like, I don't know how you function. It's
You're like, this is a different kind of
yeah,
nervous,
yeah.
okay?
It's
Get to
really
know all my
funny because
nervous
it's like, oh, I have to go do
nervousnesses.
this for my book. I'm really nervous. He's like, what's the difference today and yesterday? I'm like, I don't know. Just kids.
It
I'm
just
like a
is. It
Hulk.
just
I'm
is.
always nervous.
Yeah. Do you ever write
Um,
anxiety into
they
your
have
characters?
anxiety. It's not like it's like a normal amount, I would say. Like they're nervous, they're scared. Like fighting demons is scary, so they obviously like are like, I don't want to do this, but I guess I have
Oh, yeah.
to. Because I mean, one of the opening scenes when you meet the siblings is they caught a demon, and the youngest sister's like, "Ew, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it." And the brother's just standing there like, just shut up and touch it. Like, you have to do the thing, to do the thing. And the other sister's on the
Yeah.
side. She's like, just touch the thing. And the little sister is just freaking out. Like, it's just normal. Like, they know it, they have to do it, but it's also like, that's gross.
Hmm.
Yeah, and like,
Yeah.
Bennett's the main
Yeah.
character. Like, he's also a bundle of, like, nervousness. He doesn't know what's happening most of the time, so I don't really blame him. But yeah, he's probably the most nervous and
Yeah.
anxious about everything. And then you kind of watch him grow. And you watch him grow from his perspective and then four other different people. Like, you watch him change from 4 or 5 different people. It's very interesting.
I I love that. So that's a good character arc. I want to. So my sister is a well, she has a million degrees. I think she has like 4 or 5 degrees. I do not. But she studied, one of them is her psychology degree. And I want to take like one per character, like not all in one book, but I
Yeah.
really do want to write a character that has like severe anxiety or like AD. I have friends that have ADHD. So when I'm around them,
Yeah.
I can see how it manifests because I just like to write real people. And some of these are
Yeah, they do.
struggles. I mean, they really do impact people's everyday life. And I find it, both fascinating and heartbreaking. Like I have a friend who has severe ADHD, and just to be around him, um, wonderful guy, incredibly intelligent, but it just manifests. Like like literally, we went to lunch, and within 1 hour, he had gotten up and walked around the restaurant like 10 times. I know. And so when you've never, like, if you don't, I don't have it. So I don't know what that feels like. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how he, the coping with it and stuff like that. And I think that's what I want to do is I want to write
Yeah.
some, like, be a little bit more advanced in my
Yeah,
writing of
yeah.
these type
A
of
lot of people
characters
struggle
because
with
I
that.
feel
And
like a
like,
lot of people
it's hard to
struggle.
describe the natural anxiety that comes with everyday things, right? Like, there are people who can't leave the house if the light switch doesn't turn off the correct way, right? And that's a condition. And it's like, I
Yeah,
also
yeah,
like to turn off the light switch in a certain way, but it's not like every day I have to make sure that it has to click, sound the same, feel the same, the lights have to go off the same time. It's not like that causes me anxiety, but it might, some people are just like that, and it's hard.
yeah. No, I know what you mean. I have a friend who has social anxiety, and the guy, a couple things, he's loaded, great looking doctor. So he doesn't have the best bedside manner because of his social anxiety, but he's completely brilliant. But he's invited to like charity galas or speaking engagements, and he'll say
Right.
yes because he feels obligated, with his credentials and his experience. But he usually ends up backing out at the last minute, and it's getting to be to the point that
Yeah.
it's like detrimental. And I'm like, just don't do it. And he has kind of a whole regimen on the few that he does have to do for his, practice. He has like a whole regimen to deal with his social anxiety. Like, he has to go in, he shows up late, he bypasses the dinner, he
And if
only
that's
does the
enough,
speaking
that's
part,
enough,
and then he's
right?
back
Like,
out.
it's daunting. Yeah, it's
And it's
daunting.
kind of
And if you're
crippling
not used
his
to talking to
career.
that many people all at once, it's scary.
Hmm. Yeah, we talk about it. I mean, we've role played. He has like bullet points, he'll like they'll do a teleprompter if you need to. It's just getting him there. Like he has so much, not performance anxiety, but such like
Yeah.
anticipatory anxiety. And I'm like, you're so brilliant. Just like
Yeah.
talk to them
For
the
some
way you
people,
talk
it's
to me.
not
He's like,
the
stop
same.
saying, stop
Because,
saying, stop
like,
saying. I'm
in
like,
high
okay.
school,
So
this is really
yeah,
weird, I'm telling you this, but, like, in high
yeah,
school, I sang. I sang in front of people a lot. by myself on stage. Yeah, that was kind of like my
Neat.
thing in high school as
Oh
well. I
my
was part of
gosh,
the
that's
choir, and then I would
great.
like do auditions to get solos so that I would do it in front of like people. So I mean, I got used to people looking at me, like thousands of people like
Yeah.
looking at me, and I don't know who they are because it's dark, and you just learn how to forget about it. But yeah, that nervousness. I don't know. I don't know if I'm brave or
I mean,
stupid.
that's massively brave.
But like, I mean, every time like this, I mean, it gives me the same anxiety, but it's not crippling. Like, I know I'll get through it. It's just, the nervous. I don't know if it's like the first day of school kind of nervous. You're kind of excited and you're kind of scared. You're not really sure what to expect. That kind of feeling.
Yeah, yeah. No, I talk about that with my children because, like I feel like this generation has it harder. Like my generation, like our parents had no idea
Yeah.
where we were at. The rule was just be home when the street lights come on, just, but this generation being under the pressure of like the comparison with social media, and you can look up any
It's a lot.
perfect, beautiful body in person online all the time. It's just too much. So I try to ask them, are you nervous about it, or are you nervous energy, like excited and excited
Hmm.
for the unknown? And I always ask them to like, where's the line so that they can define it and they can understand nervousness can be good because we want to perform well when you're singing in front of, thousands of people. Or is it, the brain trying to protect the
Right.
body, which is what anxiety is supposed to be for, right? Anxiety is supposed to be for, hey, don't go down that dark alley. Look to make sure no one's behind you. That's the good part of having anxiety, but somehow in today's society, like all that has gotten
Yeah.
overrun into where we have anxiety about everything. So I
Yeah.
try and help
It's
them
hard. It's hard with
categorize it
with
best
all
we
the
can.
TikToks and the Instagram. Like, it's just
Yeah.
hard. It's harder to be a teenager.
I love
Yeah.
social media for this because I get to meet new people like you, new people on the other side of the world. Like Linda.
Hmm.
I've met people in Singapore and in London and Germany. I mean, it's just been wonderful. That's the good side of it. But that comparison of where I'm going to compare my everyday life to
Yeah, and it's
that person's
funny because
highlight
you
reel
have to
is the
remember it
dangerous and
is a
damaging
highlight.
part.
It's a highlight reel. No one's gonna show you that they tripped on a crack. They're not gonna show you what
Yeah,
happened to them, like anything that's
the
bad. They're
20
not gonna show
takes.
you that, right? Most people don't. So
Yeah. No, we don't, because at the end of the
yeah,
day, we're all still that little kid that doesn't want to be judged. That's what it
yeah,
is. That's
yeah,
why you do
yeah.
20 different takes and you put up your best one. But if
It's
you see my reels,
okay.
they're
I
always
mean, I just
cringy and they're
posted the
always
one where I
embarrassing. I
fell
just don't
doing one
care.
of those transitions, and like all of my are just mine are just whatever. Oh, that was just today.
I do love the one that you tagged me on,
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah.
Yes,
I
that
was
was
like,
so
this is a good
cute.
song. I feel kind of nauseous. Let's just do this one. It's funny. I'm
And
just like
look, it
that.
turned out to be just
I'm
fine.
never, it's either 0 or 100. There's never like an in between. I'm either very happy, very excited, very angry, very sad,
Yeah.
or like nothing. So, yeah.
You're like, I'm either dead inside
So,
or I'm joyful. That's
uh,
Well, thank you so, so, so much for spending your night with me. This has been so much
yeah,
fun getting to
anytime.
know
I
you.
just like to talk
And we
to
definitely have to
people.
do
It's
this
kind of
again.
nice to have.
No, you are so sweet, so sweet. And then maybe you can show me that cool
I can
gaming
show you
setup
right
because I feel like
now.
you're like in
Actually,
like a
hold on, give me a second.
command
I'm gonna close
center
this
with all your.
screen because it's all my emails. But I can show you. So that's my laptop. And then this is my computer desk with my stuff, my headset. And then here's my screens. And then here's
Oh
everything up
my
top.
gosh. Girl, all you need in there is a
Yeah,
refrigerator and you would
I know it's
never
my favorite
leave.
spot. And then
Shoot, I
like
had my
one of my best
snacks
friends
right
got me
there.
this so I can play up here. Yeah. I know I
Oh
don't
my
look
gosh, Hello
nerdy, but
Kitty, I
like all
love
of my
it.
stuff's kind of fun.
I love it though. I'm one of those like fly that freak
But
flag of
yeah,
yours
anytime you want
high
to chat,
and
like I'm
wide.
pretty
Yeah,
open to
nerds
anytime.
night. Okay, good. Well, I will definitely reach out to you. Um, I'm gonna post this on my YouTube, and then I'll also put different clips up so that way you know people. And then if you want me to share it to you, just DM me with your email address, and I'll have
We'll
to
figure
see
it out.
about the file size. I
Sounds
might
good.
have to do like a Google share.
Thank
I don't know. We'll
you.
figure it out. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much. And
Okay,
again,
my
tell
website is
everybody one last time
Chmilar,
your handle and your website.
CHMILAR.com. And my handle is missing scribbles, ms.c.ing scribbles. Thanks, guys.
All right. See you guys
Bye,
later.
anytime.
Be sure to follow
Have a
her.
good night.
Thanks.